I joined an art league. Let's talk about it. Hey, welcome to another video. So I joined an art league locally here. It's a little different than a gallery in that this is run by the actual artists who are the members, as opposed to a gallery obviously owned by somebody and they decide who gets hung and everything else. Well, if you're a member here, you can have your items hanging. They have different shows about once a month. They have different awards that they give out. And so I thought I'd give it a try and see what happens. Maybe try to sell a few prints. seem to rehang everything about every 4 weeks. And at least the way this one works, you pay $25 to hang your first image, your first painting. It's mostly painters in there. I did notice a few photographs this time. The last few times I've been in there, I only saw one photograph. This time there were a few, maybe 2 or 3 photographers other than myself. So that's good to see. But the first one you put in is $25. The second one is $15. The third one is $15. I think you're allowed 3. There was one area that I showed where you can rent the space, where you can put several of your images in there, which is kind of nice. They said that's something that's relatively new. That may be something I'm going to do in the future. Maybe split that area with somebody and put in 5 to 10 images. I've only been a member for just over a month, and this was the first time I was able to hang something in one of the shows. So it was nice. I got an honorable mention for one of my platinum prints. The advantages and disadvantages of something like that is, without sounding off color or whatever, they didn't really understand what a platinum print was. They're mostly painters in there. Even the judge, he called it a photograph, and yes, it's a photograph, but it is a platinum print. So the few other photographs that were there that were regular, just color photographs, they were all categorized in the same way. The Art League, this particular one's been around for a long time. I think more than 60, 70 years. They've moved a couple of times. Now they're on one of the 2 main streets that are downtown in the town I live in. They're on the street that's the one with the least amount of traffic. One heads towards the beach. Cooper, stop. No. My neighbor's dog is here and he's trying to eat the leaves off one of my wife's plants. So that particular street doesn't get the foot traffic that the other one does, but I don't know what their rent is, but I assume it's going to be less than the street that heads towards the beach. So you take the good with the bad. And being that it's an all-member thing, being that the members pay for the rent and all the... Cooper, come on. Stop. Go over there and play with it. It's no secret why the top YouTube guys all have these studios that they've built for themselves in their houses. I try to sit out here for 5 minutes, and yeah, we dog sit the neighbor's dog Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays in the afternoons for a little while. And he's just sitting here, but of course then he has to go pick up the one toy that squeaks. Then our generator, which tests itself for only 5 minutes a week, that popped on for that 5 minutes during the week. And of course the helicopter and the airplane training that goes overhead. So if this video is a little disjointed, it's because I have to keep turning on and turning off with all the different noises. I'm losing my place. I'm watching the dog chew on something here. Anyway, so far it's been a positive experience. Everybody that's been involved that I've met over there has been very nice to me. The majority of them are painters, which, not to downplay painters, I'm just saying that it's not really a photography gallery. It's really artists, and 95% of them are painters. The one disadvantage, which has not been a disadvantage to me, but it's only been one show that I participated in, and I could see where people would be upset while I was there, in fact, filming this. There was a lady that came in and her painting was all the way in the back. It was there's a hallway towards the back of the building. Not only was she in that hallway, she was the very last painting at the end of the hallway. And she, of course, was quite upset about the placement of her painting, which is understandable. If mine was all the way in the back that way, I'd have been upset, and quite frankly, that's what I was afraid of, because anytime I had seen photography in there before, they were always in that hallway all the way in the back. So I was afraid that's where mine were going to end up this time. Fortunately, they were in the front room. They were towards the back of the front room, but they were in the front room, so I was pleased with that. They were actually over near where the main desk is. They were almost behind the main desk, so it was a nice placement. And like I said, first time, and being honorable mention, winning honorable mention for one of my photographs when every other prize winner was a painting. That's nice. Guess I can't complain, because there were some other paintings that I thought were worthy of winning an award. So I really can't complain. One of the other disadvantages is because it is all run by artists. Now, like I said, I've only been in it for about a month. I'm still new. I'm still figuring out who all the players are and meeting some of the new people. And apparently the lady who runs it has only been on the job for about 6 months. And from what I understand, she's trying to make some changes in a positive way, which is good. She has her own set of ideas. From what I was told, one of the advantages, or one of the new changes, was that area where you can hang several of your images and you pay for that space. Apparently that's just new in the last 2 or 3 months. So that's a good idea. I've been told by a couple of people that they've sold some things in there and have done pretty well, and I've had other people tell me that they never sold anything out of there. Maybe because of the level of artistry. You obviously have some artists that are going to be better than others. The art in there is not, it runs the gamut of, I think the most expensive one I saw in there this time was $4,500. And the least expensive painting was either $175 or $200. My platinums I had up for $800 and $400. The other person who I saw had smaller black and whites. They looked to be probably 5x7s that were framed up. I think she was selling them for $175. And in that other room where they had some of the crafts, there were some photographs that were unframed. They were matted, and they were selling anywhere from $40 to maybe $75. So I thought I would just try it out, see if I could sell a print here and there, at least try to let my hobby pay for itself, and we'll see what happens. One of the other disadvantages is, without really knowing people over there, you don't really know where exactly to try to fit in. Like I've offered myself to sit on if they have different committees and things like that, and then because it's a member only driven art league, they're the people that have to sit there while the gallery is open, so they need people to sit there. Because a lot of the members are older women, they generally like to have 2 people sit in there at one time. Now they're only open 4 hours a day, and I think 5 days a week, so only 20 hours a week. But because they're older women mostly, they like to have 2 people rather than just the one. I did volunteer to sit. They've already changed my time because they were going to have me with another person who was relatively new, and they didn't want to do that. Again, we'll see what happens. I just wanted to do a short video and talk about my brief experience joining an art league, some of the pluses and minuses, and show you the actual gallery itself. And I'll update it after, I don't know, a year maybe, and see if I'm still a member and if I've sold anything and what my impressions are after a year. So thanks for watching. Take good care. I'll see you soon.